It really does feel like everywhere you turn these days, someone is talking about AI.
Yeah.
AI this and AI that, and
AI everything.
AI everything, right? But one of the most exciting and honestly maybe the most unexpected places where AI is really making waves is, well, it's in the art world.
Yeah, totally. AI art is just exploding in popularity. I
Yeah.
mean, I see it everywhere. It's really changing how we think about creativity and like what it even means to be an artist.
Yeah. For so long, we thought of art as this thing that was like, purely human. Like it required human hands and a human mind to create it. But now we've got algorithms that are actually becoming, well, partners in the creative
It's
process.
pretty wild. And
Uh,
that's exactly what we're diving deep into today, right?
Absolutely. This is the world of AI art. We are going to trace its origins, talk about some of the key innovators who are really pushing the boundaries, and even, this is the fun part, we're going to give you some really concrete steps that you can take to start creating your own AI art.
I love that. Empowering everyone to be an artist.
Yeah, it really is kind of democratizing
It is.
art in a way.
Okay.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock a little bit. When we think about the origins of AI art, I think a lot of people, maybe they picture robots with paintbrushes, but the story actually goes back much further than that.
Oh, yeah. Way back, we're talking mid 20th century, like before personal computers were even really a thing.
Wow. Okay.
And one of the big pioneers was a guy named Harold Cohen.
Okay.
And he created this program called Aaron back in the 1960s.
Okay, Aaron.
And it was basically software that could generate original drawings, which is pretty incredible for that time period. Now, granted, this wasn't the deep learning, super sophisticated AI that we have now.
Mm.
It was more based on a set of rules that Cohen programmed into it.
Okay, so rules about like how to make lines and shapes
Yeah.
and basically telling the computer how to represent things visually.
Right, exactly. But even with those limitations, it was a huge step forward because it showed that, machines could actually be creative. Like they could produce unique artwork.
Right. And that's a really profound idea, isn't it? I mean, that a machine could actually make something original. Okay, so we have these early experiments. What were the big breakthroughs that took us from, those early days to the kind of AI art that we see today that is just, mind-blowing sometimes?
Yeah, well, the big leap was really the advent of machine learning,
Okay.
specifically deep learning and neural networks. And I know those sound kind of complicated and techy, but the basic idea is that it's like teaching a kid by showing them tons and tons of examples.
Okay, so you're basically feeding the AI huge amounts of data.
Exactly. Massive data sets of images. So the AI can analyze all these images and it starts to pick up on patterns. It learns different artistic styles. It even figures out, the nuances of different art movements.
Wow. And then it can use all of that knowledge to create something totally new.
Exactly. And that ability to learn from all this data and then generate new images based on that is what really caused the boom in AI art that we're seeing now.
Okay, so machine learning comes along and kind of turbocharges the whole field. And then there was another really big moment, I think, that kind of pushed AI art into the mainstream.
Yeah, definitely. The sale of an AI-generated artwork at a major auction house. That
Wow.
was huge.
Okay, so we're not just talking about, people experimenting in their basements anymore. Like this is being recognized at the highest levels of the art world.
Right. It was a real turning point because it showed that people were willing to put a real monetary value on AI art. But more than that, it really made people stop and think like, okay, what is art? If a machine can make it, does that change our definition of what art is? What's the role of the artist? All these big questions started popping up.
And they're still being debated today. I mean, that's what makes this so interesting. So now let's talk about some of the individuals who are really, I think, pushing AI art forward in really interesting ways. And one name that comes up a lot is Mario Klingman.
Oh, Klingman, yeah. He's amazing. His work is so thought-provoking.
What is it about his approach that you find so compelling?
Well, he really explores the intersection of human and artificial intelligence in the creative process.
Huh?
Like he often builds these AI systems that have degree of autonomy, so they're not just following his instructions.
So they're kind of like making their own decisions, within the parameters that he sets.
Yeah, exactly. So the results can be really unexpected and unpredictable. Like they make you question what it means to be creative when an algorithm is involved.
Right, right. Because, who's really the author? Is it the artist or is it the AI?
Right, exactly. That's what's so fascinating about it. And then you have someone like Sogwen Chung who takes a slightly different approach.
Okay, so how is Chung's work different from, say, Klingman?
Well, she's all about collaboration. Like
Mm.
she sees AI as a partner in the creative process.
A partner.
Yeah. not a replacement for the artist. So she actually works with the AI. She interacts with it, and she uses it to kind of push her own creative boundaries.
Wow. So it's like a dance between human intention and artificial intelligence.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Okay. So we've got some of the big ideas here. The history, the pioneers, and how AI is changing art. But now let's get practical.
Yes, let's do it.
For our listener who's sitting there thinking, okay, I'm intrigued, I want to give this a try, where should they start? What are some concrete first steps that they can take to start creating their own AI art?
Well, the good news is it's actually easier than ever to get started with AI art.
Yeah.
There are so many user-friendly platforms out there. I mean, two that come to mind right away are DeepArt and Artbreeder.
Okay. So these are platforms that are kind of geared towards beginners.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to know any coding or anything like that.
Okay, cool. And what can you do with these platforms?
Oh, tons of stuff. I mean, you can upload your own images. You can experiment with different artistic styles. Like imagine taking a selfie and then seeing it transformed into the style of Van Gogh or Picasso.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So you can have a lot of fun just playing around and seeing what's possible.
So it's a great way to kind of get your feet wet. But what if someone wants to go a little bit deeper? Like what if they want to understand the technology behind AI art a little bit more?
Yeah, well, you don't need a computer science degree, but even just a basic understanding of AI and machine learning can be really helpful.
Okay. And how would someone go about learning those things?
Well, there are tons of great resources online. Platforms like Coursera and Khan Academy offer free courses on these topics. And they're really approachable. You don't need any prior knowledge to jump in.
Perfect. And learning even a little bit can really help you get more out of the creative process, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Understanding how the algorithms work can give you more control and more creative freedom.
Hmm.
You can really start to experiment in interesting ways.
Okay. So now let's talk about one of the coolest things that you can do with AI art, which is style transfer.
Oh, style transfer is so much fun. It's like magic.
So explain how it works.
Okay, so imagine you have two images. You have a photo that you took, maybe it's of your dog or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have another image. Maybe it's a famous painting by Monet or something.
Okay.
And style transfer allows you to take the style of that painting, like the brush strokes and the colors, and apply them to your photo.
So basically, you're making your photo look like a Monet painting.
Right, exactly. And it can create some really stunning and unexpected results.
Hmm.
It's a great way to see how AI can reinterpret your own visual content in a completely new way.
That sounds like a really fun thing to play around with. Now, another important aspect of any creative pursuit is connecting with other people who are doing similar things. Is there a community around AI art?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a huge and growing AI art community online. Platforms like DeviantArt and Reddit have whole communities dedicated to AI art.
Okay, cool.
People share their work, they give each other feedback, they talk about the latest developments in the field.
So it's a great place to learn and to get inspired and just to kind of, connect with other people who are passionate about this stuff.
Exactly. And it's changing so fast that it's really helpful to be part of that community.
Right, because there are new tools and techniques coming out all the time. So how can someone stay up to date on the latest developments in AI art?
Well, one thing you can do is subscribe to newsletters from organizations that focus on AI art. You can also follow influential AI artists on social media.
Okay, so stay connected, keep learning, keep experimenting. That's kind of the mantra here.
Right, exactly. That's what it's all about.
Okay. So for someone who's already started to dabble in AI art and is looking for ways to kind of take their practice to the next level, what are some more advanced approaches that they might consider?
Well, once you've got the basics down, you might want to explore platforms that allow for a more interactive kind of collaboration with AI. Like one platform that comes to mind is Runway ML.
Okay.
And with Runway ML, you can actually kind of steer the AI in real time. You can adjust parameters, experiment with different settings, and really get a more personalized creative output.
Wow. So you're not just kind of like pushing a button and seeing what comes out. You're actually working with the AI as a partner.
Exactly. It's much more hands-on, and it can lead to some really amazing results.
And then another interesting approach is to combine AI with more traditional art forms.
Yes, definitely. I mean, there are artists who are using AI-generated images as a starting point for paintings or sculptures.
Okay.
Like they might project an AI image onto a canvas and then paint over it, or they might use AI to generate ideas for compositions or textures that they then recreate using traditional media.
Wow. So it's like a fusion of the digital and the physical.
Exactly. and the possibilities are endless.
So it really does open up a whole new world of creative potential.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this earlier, but it's worth kind of circling back to because it's just so mind-blowing. And that is the ability of AI to mimic the styles of the great masters.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, it's like magic. You can train an AI on a data set of Van Gogh paintings, and it can learn to paint just like him, like the brush strokes, the colors, everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. So how do we even begin to think about that? Like, what does that mean for our understanding of originality and authorship in art?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, if an AI can paint a Van Gogh that's indistinguishable from a real Van Gogh, who's the artist, is it the AI? Is it the person who trained the AI? It really makes you question everything we thought we knew about art.
Right. It challenges all those traditional notions of the artist as this solitary genius.
Exactly. And it opens up a whole new way of thinking about creativity.
It really does feel like AI art is more than just a trend. It feels like it's fundamentally changing the way we think about art and the way we create art.
Oh, I totally agree. It's not just about making pretty pictures. It's about exploring new creative possibilities and expanding our understanding of what art can be.
And it's also about empowering more people to express themselves creatively.
Exactly. Like we were saying earlier, it's democratizing art in a way that we've never seen before.
So, for our listener who has been on this journey with us today, what's the key takeaway?
Well, I hope they've learned that AI art is not this intimidating, inaccessible thing.
Yeah.
It's actually something that anyone can explore. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's really rewarding. So, what's the next step?
Well, the next step is to just dive in and start experimenting. Try out some of the platforms that we mentioned. Connect with the AI art community online.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to get creative.
Yeah. Think of AI as a new tool in your creative toolbox, a way to unleash your inner digital Picasso.
I love that. Unleash your inner digital Picasso.
Yeah.
And as you start experimenting and creating, ask yourself, what does it mean to be creative in a world where AI is becoming more and more prevalent? How is this collaboration between humans and machines going to shape the future of art? What will art look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? It's an exciting time to be an artist.
It really is. So
Yeah.
go forth and create.
Yes, create.